YouTube family. Today is September the 26th, Thursday, here in H-Town, Texas. It's not as hot as it was the last time we talked, because you know, last time we talked, all I was talking about was how hot it was here in H-Town. But now it's not that hot. It's kind of cooling off, getting to fall. Football weather. And today, family, I got someone from Texas Southern University that is, let me read this because I don't want to read it wrong. He's the Assistant Athletic Director for Operations and Facility Management. Now, I ain't gonna even try to tell you what that's about. I'm gonna let him explain that to you. And before we get started though, I gotta go through my regular routine, and that is I wanna thank you guys for watching the show. The numbers continue to grow, and I want you to, as you look at the show, put it on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, forward it off to family members and everything, and let them know that, look, we got a guy in H-Town, Houston, Texas, that is heavily involved in SWAC news, HBCU news, and I do local news also. So without further ado, I want to also ask you guys to do as I always do, hit that like button, smash that bell so you can be notified every time a show is going to come on, and share it with some friends. Please do that for me. Also, behind me, you see the merchandise. It's getting ready to be football season again. The hoodies will come in very handy. So go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, and check you out a hoodie or either a long sleeve Sports Talk with Fat Larry. And as you can see, we have the standard short sleeve Sports Talk with Fat Larry. Leave your name, your size, and we'll get back to you and get it to you, I promise. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is introduce Stefan Robinson, the Assistant Athletic Director for Operations and Facility Management at TSU, Texas Southern University. Welcome to the show, Stefan.
Thank you for having me, Fat Larry. Glad to be here.
All right. Tell the people, basically, who Stefan Robinson is and where you from, where you hail from, what school you attended, and we just want them to know a little background about you.
Well, I am originally from Greenville, Mississippi. It's in the northwestern part of the state in the Mississippi Delta, right on the Mississippi River. Yeah. So I am a two-time graduate of Alcorn State University. I got my BS degree there in business administration, and I got my master's in athletic administration.
Okay.
I actually started off in the athletic profession as a student assistant in the athletic department in 1978.
Get out of here.
I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, get out of here.
So I'm actually a product of the program. And tell you a little short story. When I was in school, when I got ready to finish my BS, the athletic director, who was Marino Chasm, known as the Godfather.
Yes, know him very well.
He called me and he said, Stefan, he said, what you gonna do? You finna finish school? I said, well, Coach, I hope I can get me a job somewhere. He said, well, if you want to go to grad school, we'll pay for it. So at first I was like, Coach, I said, I'm 12 years of school and 4 years of college. I said, I think I need a break. So I got home during the summer and wasn't doing nothing. So I called Coach back about the end of July. I said, Coach, that offer still good? He said, yeah. So I went on back to grad school.
Wow.
And so when I left there, my first job was at Albany State College.
Now, where's Albany State at?
Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, and they are in the SIAC, Division II.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first stop. I always wanted to get back to the SWAC.
Okay.
So after I was there for a short stint, Prairie View called me up and said, hey, we got a position as an athletic business manager. And I had gone to Prairie View prior to interview as a sports information director.
So you went to Prairie View to interview for another job.
Right.
I guess you must have impressed them enough to whereas that when another one came up, they called you. You didn't have to apply for that one.
No, I didn't. They called me up. They said, we need you. I said, when you need me? They said, we need you today. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. So I gave my notice at Albany State, and that's how I got to Prairie View. Yeah, I did. I came interview for the job. And so the athletic director talking to me, so he asked me what did I really want to do, what did I like to do. So I told him I like dealing with the travel, dealing with the budgets and all that. So when the job came open, they hired somebody else for the SID job. Thank God they didn't hire me. So when the job came open as business manager, he called me up, and that's how I ended up at Prairie View. So I stayed at Prairie View for 3 years.
Who was the coach at that time, if you mind me asking?
Conway Heyman.
Okay, Conway Heyman was a football coach.
Yeah.
Fans, that's an old Houston Oilers player.
Right.
When, back in the Love You, well, no, it wasn't the Love You Blue days, it was the Earl Campbell days.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I left there, went to Southern University for 5 years. And that's when Coach Cadman got to be the athletic director over there. So he called me and said, hey, come on, I want you to be a part of my team. So I went to Southern for 5 years, stayed over there for 5 years, then ended up back at Prairie View and stayed at Prairie View for another 14 years.
Wow.
And then Dr. McClellan left. He was the athletic director, my last AD at Prairie View.
Okay.
So he left Prairie View, and so that's how I ended up at Texas Southern.
He brought you with him?
Yes, sir. Been there ever since.
Been there. So you got to TSU what year?
2008. I've been at TSU now for 16 years, I believe.
So is that the longest tenure you have? Prairie View was initially
Prairie View was 17 years.
Because that's right, you had 3 at first.
Right.
You had 3 the first time, right.
But I never thought I'd be at TSU this long to say I look like I'm going to outwork my time at TSU above Prairie View.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And now, tell the listening audience what your job entails, okay?
Okay. Well, from an operational standpoint, part of my duty is I schedule all the ground transportation for the teams.
Okay.
So
like if we gotta go, baseball gotta go play Valley and Itta Bena, you get all that set up?
Yes, sir. If they're riding by bus, or going by van, usually smaller teams are by vans, then I schedule all of that. If we have to charter, I actually sit down, we have a guy on campus that oversees our fleet transportation. For those who don't know, TSU has 3 of their own buses.
Okay.
So, and we got 16 sports, so there always gonna come a point in time where we got sports overlapping, they're traveling, so we have to charter. So generally I'll sit down at the beginning of the semester with the guy over in Fleet Services, his name is Chad Stewart. So we'll sit down and we'll go over the complete schedule of all the teams' travel.
Okay.
And we'll go through and we'll assign the TSU buses, and then we see where we have to charter buses. And so generally I try not to. I know some people do, but I try not to wait till the last minute, because not that buses are in short supply, but one issue you find with buses in Houston is they don't have a lot of good drivers.
Right.
So, we had a bus to break down before and had to try to charter a bus, and the guy was like, Stefan, I got the buses, I just don't have the drivers to drive the buses.
Wow.
So there's a shortage of drivers. So that's one thing we do in terms of when you come to a game, let's say football, for example. I sit down with the stadium and we do what we call a run of show, or some people call it a run script. And it outlines everything that happens from the very moment we start our 90-minute clock down before the game, when the teams come on the field, when they go off the field, when commercials are played on the Jumbotron.
Excuse me. You involved in all of that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When commercials are played, what time they're played, when the band is going to play. A lot of times the band doesn't cooperate with us, but So if we do anything, anybody special comes for a coin toss, or if we're doing any kind of special recognition, then I coordinate all of that. So it's my job to make sure if this weekend's game kicks off at 6:02, it's my job to make sure we kick off at 6:02. If not, it's on me.
I got you. Now, do you do you sync up with JSU's person parallel to you, or do you set up things for JSU, Jackson State, as family? This is who we playing this week is Jackson State University, and I want to issue an invitation to you right now, as I always have been saying for the last 3 years. If you're in the vicinity of any HBCU game, please try to attend, because the universities need your support. Yeah, I'm a TSU guy, but if you're going to the Alcorn Bethune-Cookman game in Daytona Beach, Florida, try to, if you attend any of those schools, try to get there, because one more time, the schools need your contribution and your participation in the games that they're putting on. So sorry to interrupt and bring that to talk about the TSU game, but I want people to know, come out to the game this Saturday, and the following weekend, we're going to be TSU's homecoming October the 5th. Now, we're going to go right out. This is a segue for him to tell us all that's involved in him getting the game ready for homecoming. Is that one of your most hectic things, weeks, is doing the homecoming?
It is. It is.
Tell the family why.
But so, of course, you know, we don't play games on campus, so we don't actually have everything that we need.
Right.
Okay. We
Infrastructure.
Right. The infrastructure is not there. Mm-hmm. We don't have restrooms. Mm-hmm. We don't have adequate seating. So we don't have suites that we have at Shell Energy Stadium. So all of these things that we have to bring in, and we've actually started this week building out some of those things. We're bringing in additional seating. We actually start all that in the summer because some of these things are hard to get. Mm-hmm. We do elevated seating at TSU, and what elevated seating is seating that goes from the height of what we have and goes behind that. Most people would just bring in seats to the left or right, but we do the elevated because we want everybody to have some prime seats. Yeah,
good view.
Right, a good
you don't want you all stuck off in the corner, back off in there.
Right. So we do the elevated seating. We have to bring in restroom trailers.
Right.
You know, we know people, I for one, don't really like the porta potties. I done been in some like,
I was just waiting on you to finish and say that from the first and second year, you guys have gone. Now, he's going to tell you what the name of them are, but they actually look like restrooms. They actually look like bathrooms when you walk into them. Now, what are those called? Because
they're called deluxe restroom trailers.
Yeah, and they're better than the porta potties, family. I'm telling you
they are. They are. So, and the key issue with those is if it's hot, you know, we drink a lot of water.
Right.
So we've learned as the years go. So we bring in what we call extra tanks. So when they run out of water, then there's an extra tank that will be connected to the trailer, so we can have a continuous use of the restroom trailers.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do that. We deal with vendors that have to come in, set up. So I got to get back to the office, and I got to have
get ready for that.
So we have to do an agreement. So at the end of the day, whatever we do, we got to make sure that it protects the interests of Texas Southern University. Okay. So we do agreements and outline in those agreements, and I prepare the agreements, and then our legal office will look at it and say if we need to add this or take this away. So like a vendor comes in, a vendor has to have liability insurance.
Okay.
And TSU has to be listed on the rider. So that way if they bring a vehicle in to unload and they run over somebody,
it ain't on y'all.
Right.
It ain't on TSU.
Right. And one of our real big events that I do every year is the TSU Relays.
Okay.
Now that's the granddaddy of everything we do on campus.
Right.
So we have to bring all that in, and the magnitude of the people that are involved, the fans that are there are enormous. I mean, that's the biggest event that the university has on campus for athletics.
Right. Now, do you designate or defer out to some of your people on, like, this year, family, we're going to have one hell of a homecoming entertainment alignment after the game. They got maybe 4 to 5 acts. Frankie Beverly's initial band, EU, Latoya Lockett, and so they're going to have a lot of people there. Now, how are you involved in that, or is that something another branch?
Well, we have, and they got 9. I told them they're killing me with the meetings.
All right.
So they try to meet almost every day.
Okay.
So at this point, but we all report everybody has a part that they have to take care of. So mine is everything inside of the stadium grounds.
Okay.
And generally I give a report on what's going on from the athletic side when we meet. Then we have somebody from student services who's dealing with the activities on Friday.
Okay.
Right. Then we have a person that's in charge of all the tailgating that's going on.
That assigns the lots that people are going to be in?
Okay.
Okay.
So we all kind of work together as one team, one goal.
Okay, that sounds good, man. But so it's going to be off the hook. This homecoming family, you can believe it, because I've been attending mostly all of them, and this is the first time I've seen the many acts there. If you're Zydeco, I think they're gonna have Step Rito, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna have, so it's gonna be off the hook this year. I'm looking for as many people. You know, at first you guys were thinking about playing at Shell because of all the things you said earlier. The infrastructure is already at Shell, restrooms, accommodations, air conditioning, and what have you. But they were going to come to the game later on, and I was telling someone at the university, like, man, I don't think it's going to be too many people come to the game. I mean, go to the game if they got to go to the game and come back, because once that gate open for homecoming, it's filled up, and your parking, nearest parking, if you come after the game, is probably going to be a mile away.
Right.
So evidently, I didn't say it to anybody, but somebody must have heard me. They said, no, we're going to do everything on campus. But are we working toward getting that back to where, you know, you go to Shell and come back?
Well, what we really need when we play on campus, and I've noticed this, I went to homecoming at Prairie View, and I've noticed this, is we come to the campus, but we won't go to the game.
We won't go to the game, that's what I'm saying.
And my thing is, if you want us to play on campus, you got to support it by showing up to the game.
Right.
That's important.
Thank you. Did you hear that, family? If you put emphasis, point your camera again and tell them again they need to come.
If you want us to play on campus, you got to support it by showing up to the game. You know, I know the first year we brought it back on campus, we had enough seats for about 10,000 people, and we only had about 6,000 people in the stadium.
That came in the stadium, and probably had another 6,000 or 7,000 out at tailgate.
Outside, and I know. The last time I went to homecoming at Prairie View, and it's not just the TSU.
Oh no, because I'm gonna tell you something after you finish that. Go ahead.
I went to Prairie View, and I'm in the stadium, and they got 6,000 folk, and it got to be about another 20,000 outside,
right?
Just having a good time.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, you got to come in and support the team.
Right.
And my thing at the end of the day, come and support the kids on the field.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring it up. I thought it was just up because Kevin Allen, that another guy that works at Texas Southern University that I know, a good friend, and
the Silver Fox.
Yeah, the Silver Fox.
That's right.
And so what I was trying to say is that we're not alone. I saw on YouTube where North Carolina A&T, they're getting ready to start. If you come to the homecoming, you got to buy a ticket. Now, you ain't got to come in the game once you buy that ticket, but you got to buy a ticket to the game. Because they would have, they say, 10 to 12,000 people on campus for the homecoming, 2,000 going to the game. 3,000 going to the game because they just outside partying and having a good time.
Right.
Yeah. So we can't lose thought of the fact while we're at the homecoming, that's to support our team. So I generally go out now. I'm not gonna tell a lie. At halftime after the halftime show, if we leading pretty good, I will go back out. But I do show myself in the first half.
And you talk about halftime, I always tell folk, if you really want to know how many people at the game, look at the crowd at halftime.
At halftime.
I say the PWIs, they go to the concession stand.
Right.
We don't go to the concession stand. We go during the game or between quarters. The halftime, we gonna watch the band.
We're gonna watch the halftime show. And you're absolutely right. You can get a good count on who at the game.
It is.
Because even at Texas Southern, you know, where our stadium is situated, Student Union building has a few overhangs that looks at the stadium. During the game, you may not see anybody, but when the bands come on at halftime, that whole cliff is filled because they want to watch the halftime. They want to watch the halftime. Right. So tell us, we touched a little bit about just then, they got to come to the game to support us. What are some things that we need at TSU to get us to the next level from alumni and fan point of view? Well, and that's what I got you today. I always preach the support, but I want you to tell them why we are preaching this and how it would benefit us if they participate.
Well, first thing we need to, and let me give you a number. I always go out, and part of my job too as a marketing person is to go out and solicit corporate sponsors. Okay. And to maintain the corporate sponsors that we have on hand. To keep them happy so they'll keep writing checks. Right. So one thing we need people to show up, one, to support the kids.
Right.
Because anytime a player gets to a stadium and look out there and see all those fans.
Right.
I mean, man, and you see your home team fans, your adrenaline just gets rolling. Man, you get on a high, you ready to roll, knock somebody out. You know.
Or get knocked out.
Right. Then the second thing is, we need bodies in the stand. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to make revenue.
Right.
You know, we got to pay for ticket takers. We got to pay for. We don't pay for the stadium, but we pay custodial staff, security. We you know, and all that. There's a cost to that. You know, so we need people to show up. And I mean, we look at the Michigans, we look at the Texas, and they make money because they got fans in the stand.
You got fans in 100,000.
Right.
100,000.
And we struggle to get people in the stands. You know, unless we got back-to-back win, you know, great winning seasons, people don't want to come.
Right.
You know, but you got to show up. You got to support your school. And the unique thing about TSU is the majority of TSU graduates, over 80% of them live within 150
right here in
of
town.
Houston.
Right here.
I mean, that's a perfect situation for any school. Most of your graduates are right here. You know, and I have to say, I give kudos to our student services department on campus who work real close with us in terms of trying to help get the students out. And over the last 2 years, our student engagement and our student involvement at athletic events has really picked up. And
Good.
While I'm on there, I just want to thank them.
Right.
Because they play a big part in helping us get the word out to the students, get them involved.
Right. And while we're doing that, the Maroon and Gray Alumni Arm, the TSU, National Alumni Association Alumni Arm, they do a great job of trying to produce and present opportunities for alumni like myself to participate. Now, you hit nail on the head in that all commuter colleges, family, it's not just HBCU. Mm-hmm. You got University of Houston right around the corner.
Right.
Where we got maybe, how many students, ex-students you say we have?
We're over 90,000.
How much would you think University of Houston have? Twice that amount? Twice that amount, and they have the same issue. We find community colleges find themselves having to have, as Mr. Robinson has just said, you got to be a winner.
Right.
And the only way for us to win is we have to contribute to the university for they can go out and get the right athletes, present the right package for them to want to come to Texas Southern. Tell them what we're currently doing right now, working on. I know, and I'm going to see if you're going to guess. If not, I'm going to tell you right away. But a project that we're working on right now that we're trying to do for the athletes.
Well, we're getting ready and we're having groundbreaking next week for a new baseball, softball complex. Right there, you might as well say it's on the campus. It's right across the street from the East Parking Garage.
Right.
And as long as I can remember, even when I was at Prairie View, Texas Southern has always had to play off campus.
We played, let me excuse you for interrupting you. When I played, we had a girls' softball field that we played at on campus that extended over the football field. And if somebody hit a deep outfly center to right field ball, we had to run over the track, you know, because there was a track, and catch the ball. It was still in play. That's how we've been doing with baseball since like '69 when I was there, freshman. And it is so wonderful. These kids don't understand that when we go to the game right across the street over here at the park where Texas Southern now plays, I tell them, I say, like, y'all moaning about it's not enclosed, this and that, but we would have died to play it on this field. This is an actual baseball field y'all are playing on. We didn't play on one. So this is what he's talking about. Things take time, and through the grace of God and a contribution from the Astros, Texas Southern now is going to be on a level field because we can pay now to go to the baseball game.
Well, you know, and one thing from my time at Prairie View and my time here is I know one issue we used to always have, and you know, for those of you all who know the little history about Prairie View, you know, they just got their stadium last 5 or 6 years.
5 years.
So before that, and the baseball coach we have at TSU argues the same thing that the coaches used to argue in. Man, I hate to bring a recruit on campus.
Right.
Because they want to see where we play.
Play at.
And when we, you know, baseball, you take them to the city park, but then you got a kid we got recruiting the same kid that Southern's recruit in Prairie View, and then when they
got
go to
their own
Prairie
park
View and Southern, and they take them and show them what they have, and all of a sudden, you know, well, the kid, well, they got, I like what I see in Prairie View. I like what I see at Southern.
Yeah.
So my coach is always saying, I need to be on a level playing field.
Right.
So when I bring a kid here, you know, and we're in the 4th largest city in America. You know, that helps us too. So when we got our facility, we got the 4th largest city in America. You know, that's a plus for us. That helps us above the Prairie Views. That helps us above the Southern universities.
Yes. We got more to offer to them and from a city's point of view and things to do. And even after graduation, they're going to be in the city of Houston.
Correct.
Yeah. So we have that, but we need that other. Like you said, that field. That field is going to be so tremendous, man. I can't wait on that. But I was also talking about colleges now have little things that are little to us, it may be, but it's big thing to the kids.
Right.
The juice.
Fueling station.
Yeah, fueling station. Explain to the listening audience. This is another way, family, for us to be able to help the university.
Well, I don't know if most of you all remember back when Connecticut, a couple of years ago, when they won the NCAA tournament, and one of the kids was talking about how he didn't get to eat and that. So the NCAA came up with this thing where the athletic departments could provide snacks for the student athletes. And thanks to the leadership of Dr. Kevin Granger, we have established a fueling station at Texas Southern University for our student athletes. And they can come by. It's open twice a day. It's open in the morning and it's open in the evening. And they can come by and get snacks and beverages to supplement between meals.
And this is something that major universities are doing.
Oh,
correct?
yes.
They do. And we're not even trying to get comparable to them, just, just still provide one. And tell them how they can do it. Man, I'm going to tell you what I did after on hearing on it. And what I do may not be apropos for everyone and may even be less. You know, you'd be shocked at what $25, $50, and so on will do to help. Can you extend an invitation and let them know how they can help you and where they can send it to and so forth?
Well, we've actually had people like yourself and some other alums, and they've actually come in and said, hey, can I get some snacks? You know, and they've actually gone out, bought some items for the fueling station.
Oh, so you can do that?
Yeah, you can do that. And they've actually done it, and the ones that are doing it consistently.
Okay.
So they'll go and they'll call up and say, hey, I got a carload. I'm coming by. Can I drop it off?
Wow. I did not know that. I was just thinking monetarily. So you can go to Sam's or Costco's on your own and bring it. Okay.
Right. Or you can make a donation to the athletic department.
Yeah, which is what I did. I just paid to put something on the Maroon and Gray just recently put on a benefit, and the coaches were there and they were talking about the fueling station and they wanted people to donate at that time, and I made a donation then.
Great, well, we thank you. Yeah. Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, man. Every little bit helps. So,
and you know, that's one thing I want to say is that we have to get in the giving mode to support our institutions.
Right.
You know, you don't necessarily have to give to the athletic department, but you need to give to your institution. Give back.
Right.
I mean, that's one way the PWIs outdo us.
Right.
And it's not that we got people that are corporate executives, you know, bank managers, people who are doing well, you know, but they're not giving back. You know, I find we got a handful of people here, and they are very, very loyal in giving consistently, but it's just a handful. But we need another handful and another handful to give.
Yeah. I agree, and I know exactly where you're coming from on that. And I've told this story a number of times. Texas A&M University, and don't get me wrong, Texas A&M University got different resources, but I'm talking about the kids now. They have their students, they dedicate, see, we at Texas Southern have a hard time getting $50 from people to join the Alumni Association.
We do.
Them kids at Texas A&M University sign a agreement when they graduate, they're gonna donate $1,000 to join the Alumni Association. $1,000, and those kids don't even have jobs yet.
Right.
And I had a client, I sell insurance, that had graduated from A&M. He said, "What we do, Ms. Rose, if we don't have it, we just sign bank draft and we pay $87 a month."
Oh, wow.
For a year. And that $1,000 is right there.
And like you said, we got a problem just getting our people to come and pay $50.
$50. $50. Just $50.
Well, I'm not going to call his name to embarrass him, but we got a professor on campus, and he got 1 degree from TSU and 1 from U of H. Uh-huh. Now, he paying over U of H, his alumni. I said, why you not paying your dues at TSU?
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
You know, there's no excuse.
No excuse.
You know,
no excuse.
And I'm gonna tell you, when my mom and dad passed, you know, they graduated from Alcorn too, but they were active alumni people. You know, so what I did, I said, I know they would want me to do this. I went and got lifetime membership.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know.
I'm a lifetime member. And that's another thing, family, we can do. Mm-hmm. Lifetime membership, $450. Do you know what some of these PWIs is like $1,500?
It is.
$1,500 for a lifetime membership. You can be done with it, and you're a lifetime member.
Card carrier member.
Card carrier, right? All kind of perks. So I am truly enjoying this conversation. I'm gonna have to have you back again, Stefan, and because what I want to do is go over a few things, because we're gonna have a special guest later on in the show. I want to ask your opinion. Here we go right here with football for this upcoming week. Mm-hmm. Now, I've gotten the news that FAMU versus Alabama A&M going to be canceled or rescheduled because of the hurricane.
Right.
Hurricane. Alabama State at Bethune-Cookman. What you think? Do I need to show you last week's results?
No. I'm look.
You're on top of
it. Alabama State, after that fiasco, Bethune-Cookman and Clark, Atlanta, I'm going with Alabama State.
I hear you. You're going with Alabama State. Okay, what about Alcorn at Mississippi Valley?
If Alcorn lose that game, I'm going to be ready to run the coach out of town.
You're talking to a corn alumni over in Valley. What do you think Valley got to do, man?
Well, I think the problem at Valley is the same problem when I was at Prairie View. I was at Prairie View when they had the 80-game losing streak.
Right, okay.
And I was the media relations person for the sports program.
That was hell every day.
Man, I tell people, I say, a streak from a media relations perspective, a streak is a streak. 80-game losing streak. Everybody wanted to come and talk to you. You know, we had ESPN, HBO. That's when Brian Gumbo had Real Sports. Right. They were even on Real Sports,
right.
Man.
Oh,
and man.
Anything negative, they're going to say about it.
Well, let me say this, too. People got to realize, too, I'm not saying athletics is the only part of an HBCU or a university. When I think about it, as you're looking through windows of a house. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got one window which your engineering program, one window which is your pharmacy, one window maybe your school of nursing. But then you got this huge picture window. That's what they call it in the country, the big window out the living room. That's your athletic program. Mm-hmm. That's the one way you can be in the paper almost every day is through athletics.
Yes.
And I remember, God bless his soul, he's deceased now, but the Prairie View president when Prairie View was doing all the losing was Dr. Charles Hines.
Okay.
So he was like, man, if all these folk want to talk to me and we ain't winning,
just think if we
were
Yeah.
And I always say you take your athletic program. When I was in media relations, I would always do a little thing in my game notes. And I would have a little segment to talk about the highlights of the school. So I wanted people to know that, hey, the school graduated more black engineers than any other school in the country.
Yeah,
they
always been known for that.
All those things. Mm-hmm. And you take athletics, you use that to push your other programs on the campus, your academic programs.
I got something to piggyback that. University of Houston has done nothing but soar since that female president been there.
Right.
You know why? Because she gets it. I've heard Kelvin Sampson say it in the football coach.
Right.
She gets it how the correlation between sports and the university go together.
Right.
She even said it.
Right.
She said, if we got a great football team, a great basketball team, enrollment's gonna soar, endowments are gonna come in, and look what they got a school, medical school. Wasn't even thinking about that before she got here.
Right.
They got a medical school now. And that's all because football took off, basketball took off, and she's got them a tier 1.
Oh,
and which Texas Southern is not that far off on being a tier 1 for HBCUs.
And you talked about Valley. What I think the biggest problem, and I think Prairie View realized this, is that until the institution makes an investment in the athletic program,
there you go.
They're going to have that. The Valley is going to continue to have that issue.
Right.
Prairie View woke up and realized we got to do something.
Right.
We got to make an investment.
Right.
So when Valley realizes they need to make an investment, then I think they will begin to grow. But until then,
well, what do you think would be the greatest stretch of Valley being acknowledged and being known? I think it was when Jerry Rice and the gunslinger was there.
Right.
People even know where it was and who it was.
Right.
But you know what? They was going to Valley. I bet you Valley's enrollment thing was doubled when they was there right there at that time. Yeah. So they correlate with one another. They say that the Prairie View Grambling game is a turning point for Prairie View. You know, Prairie View done lost two.
Yeah, they have.
And so this is a must-win for Prairie View and playing Grambling. And
I said when Grambling and Jackson played, because I know Jackson and Southern played, and Jackson beat the stew out of Southern. I was like, is Southern that bad or Jackson that good? So I said we find out when they get to the next game. So Jackson got to Grambling and really did. They were all right, but they didn't do anything. So I look for Grambling to be dominant. I like Bubba now. I like Bubba. I like Bubba, yeah. But if Grambling continues to play like they are, I look for Grambling to be the dominant team in the West.
In the West, yeah. I feel like Texas Southern, that was the only game that kind of had Texas Southern last year with Grambling, because they could have beat Prairie View, they should have beat Southern, and so on. Prairie View had Southern. Almost reminded me so much of the game last year when Texas Southern played Southern, where we won everything but the game. Prairie View won everything but the game.
Kind of like the game we played against Lamar last year.
Did everything but win the game.
We did.
The defense needed one last stop and couldn't do it.
Right.
They've been stopping them in special times the whole day, and then when they needed one last stop, they couldn't do it. All right, so we got that. So you got Alabama State against Bethune-Cookman. Corn against Valley, Prairie View against Grambling.
I'm going with Grambling.
Oh, okay, you got Grambling going with Prairie View, and JSU versus us. I think we can beat Jackson State. Now we can't make no mistakes.
No, we can't. Now if we play as well as we played this past week, I tell my friends, I said, 31, I think it's Quentin, had a hell of a game against Lamar, but I said, Jackson gonna come in there, they gonna have somebody spy on him. So we got to have somebody else to step up.
I think the quarterback is I don't know if you know anything about the football team, but is KJ ready to play yet?
I think he's still questionable. And I'm like you.
I told everybody that's what my faith is on who's quarterback.
Right.
Who's quarterback.
Well, I always tell people in this conference, you got to have a solid quarterback.
You got to
win this conference.
Quarterback can win the conference for you. And they can't win it by itself, but I'm just saying, because so many teams don't have good ones.
Right.
If you got a good one, man, he's just going to stand out.
And I had to give kudos to the young man that played last week.
Oh, I do too.
He did a great job.
Great job
of managing the game.
Great job.
And he didn't make any mistakes. So I give him kudos.
I don't put that on him.
Yeah.
They scored that. Yeah. You got 3 minutes left.
Right.
Stand up, defense. Yeah. Stand up one time.
And I always tell folks too when you play the PWIs.
Yeah.
I said,
we got terrible calls. You can't let it be close.
You can't let it be close.
Can't let it be close.
You can't.
Can't let it
find a way.
Can't let it be close. And we're gonna go over real quick before we let you go. SWAC basketball. They have Texas Southern pick number 2, Grambling, defending champs, come back, and Southern 3. And what do you think about that?
I think they're picking Grambling because of their recent history.
Right.
Texas Southern, we got some new guys,
right.
so they don't know a lot.
Right.
But I think
I'm happy they don't know.
Right. And I've seen them work out, so I'm impressed with them.
Okay.
And in the conference, you got to have a good point guard.
Oh, you got to have.
So we got a little guy out there, man. He can go.
Yeah, I've seen him, but I don't know where he's from. He's from a major college, isn't he?
He's from Memphis, but I can't remember the school he transferred from.
Okay.
But I think once basketball is about chemistry. I tell folk that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So once I think they get the chemistry under their belt, they get where they played together a few games, I think they'll be okay.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming out to the show, man.
Hey.
And I was thinking that, will they like to hear all the technical stuff? But, you made the technical stuff very exciting just then on. Shaylin, what you think? Did he give out some informative information? Yeah, I always get his opinion. Sometimes he knows something, sometimes he don't.
Well, I just want to say I thank you for allowing me an opportunity to come and be on the show.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to come back.
Okay.
And look, you talking about we got Jackson this weekend.
Right.
Homecoming next weekend. And the weekend after that, we play Southern. So we got 3 home games.
3 games
and then not 3 little games.
Not 3 little games at all. And we got Grambling.
Right. And I just want to say this to the TSU fans. Come out. Tickets. We got some of the cheapest tickets in the SWAC.
Right.
And I got a friend of mine that's at Jackson State, and I actually just sent her our ticket numbers. And she's working on a ticket analysis. I asked her, please share that with us. But our tickets for Jackson and Southern, they start at $20 in an advance sale. And a man can get a family of 5 and bring them to the game for $100.
Can't do that anywhere.
No, can't do that anywhere.
You can't do that
at U of H.
No.
You can't do that at Prairie View.
No.
We played Prairie View.
You paid $35 a ticket.
That's it.
Yes, we did. We did.
So, and we got, and Dr. Granger was like, we want to make sure we keep our prices family friendly.
Right.
So we just need you to show up on game day.
Yeah.
And tickets are available. You can go to tsusports.com. And when you get to tsusports.com, the top bar has a thumbnail that says sports. Click on that, go to football. Then click on schedule and just scroll down to the game of your choice or the games of your choice and click on there's a link there that says tickets. Just click on that and you can buy tickets right there online.
Thank you for that information. And also, I have a client that he said, Rose, I be busy on weekends. He said, but I said, well, you can buy a season ticket and give it out to a customer or a client of yours.
Well, our tickets are electronic. I tell people, and I like the electronic deal because if I buy a season ticket and I can't go, I can always take that ticket and I can transfer to a friend, a neighbor, a relative.
Right. Someone that can go. Someone got some kids.
Right.
As I tell people all the time, if you got kids, bring them to the game so they can enjoy the band at halftime. Because that's what I did with my girls when they were young.
Well, and when you bring them, my parents always took me to the game. And then I got some friends whose parents were Alcanites, and they always take them on the weekends to the games. And we all ended up going to school together at Alcorn.
See what I'm saying?
And I mean, we friends. We talking about
to this day.
To this day, and look, we had some of us haven't seen each other in about 7-8 years. So we talking about doing us a little road trip, little guy road trip, get together.
Man, see what I'm talking about?
But let me, the thing great about HBCUs, and I said we got to find a way to market this. It's nothing like the HBCU experience.
Nothing.
And I tell kids want to go to white school, I say it's not going to be the same. It's coming to an HBCU. You develop friendships that last a lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah. My kids finished a predominantly PWH, predominantly white high school,
Right.
and have not attended any reunions, none of that.
Right.
You know, but they've gone to functions with some of their friends that attended HBC with my daughters. They go because they went to attended HBCUs.
Right.
They go to those functions. They don't go to the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. So I know exactly where you're coming from. But man, once again, I want to thank you for coming to the show and dropping that information. I feel like I learned something now.
All right.
So family, without further ado, what we want you to do is, if you can, attend the game against Jackson State, October the 28th, and also on, September the 28th. And on October the 5th, homecoming. Please try to attend that game. And when you buy a ticket, don't just come to the tailgate. We want you at the tailgate because it's going to be off the hook with so many events going on. But come to the game. The university needs the ticket sale. So please buy a ticket to come to the game. Mr. Womack is the broker and president and CEO of Womack Development Investment Realtors, a private minority-owned full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage firm. Over the years, he has been known to be a respected community businessman and partner and has received many awards. Now, he sells real estate everywhere, but his specialty is right here in 3rd Ward. This guy can get it taken care of for you. Hello, family. We're back. And what we have for you now is a pleasant surprise. I know that you guys have seen this pink and teal ribbon on my shirt. It signifies ovarian and breast cancer. Our next guest is a licensed LMSW, currently therapist in a private practice. She is going to tell us about some things that are going on in regards to ovarian and breast cancer. Okay, without further ado, we'd like to welcome to the show, Kandice Rose.
Okay. Well, what he forgot to tell you is I'm one of his favorite daughters, and I am also a cancer survivor. So that's why it was important for me to come and talk about it today. So before we get to breast cancer and ovarian cancer, this month is also My Cancer Awareness, which is blood cancer and childhood cancer. So it's important for us to recognize that all cancer is not pink, and just educate you all on prevention and awareness. So I think especially in the Black community, we need to make sure that if our body's aching or we having some signs, that we go to the doctor. You go to the doctor pretty
Go to the doctor, when something's hurting, and once a year on my physical, that I want to, while she asked me, just go on and tell all my male watchers that please go and at least have your annual physical where they do blood draw and they check out a whole bunch of stuff. So without further ado, what we're going to do is let our guests go off into detail about the different cancers that she has a campaign going on right now.
All right. So first off, I am the co-founder of Pretty Girls with Cancer. We're a nonprofit here, and we focus on cancer survivors, patients, caregivers, and their mental health. As a 3-time cancer survivor, I found it really important to make sure that we have support for not just the cancer fighter, but also their family as well. So with that said, my father was a caregiver for myself and my mom and my brother. So next month is October. And of course, everyone knows about breast cancer, but it is also ovarian cancer month. That is something, this month, is ovarian cancer month. And so it's important for us to educate our women. And I'm speaking to you because I know my dad has some fans. When you go to the OBGYN, it's important to know that when you get your PEP test, that you're not doing it to get screened for ovarian cancer. I think it's important for people to understand that because ovarian cancer, my mom had cancer, ovarian cancer. You tend to find it in the later stages. So I just wanted to kind of go over some signs. One thing is that if you start feeling really tired or feel like if you're hungry and then you eat a little bit and you're all of a sudden like you're full, that's something that you can be concerned about. Also, a bloated stomach is something to be concerned with, along with abdominal and pelvic pain. So if you're kind of having these symptoms, go to your doctor. get some screening, some testing, just for everything. But when it comes to ovarian cancer, nearly 70% of women that have the cancer find it later in life because there's no specific screening for it.
Right.
And so my mom, she was going through screenings and they found it a little bit later in life. But I just want you all to know that it is important for us to just get screened for all type of cancers so we could be aware of our bodies and what, when there's something acting up, make sure you check it. Check it out.
Okay.
All right. And then breast cancer. We all know that's why my dad is wearing pink and teal. Teal is for ovarian cancer, which is that awareness is this month, and breast cancer is next month. So
let them know because as it is September the 26th, so they don't get it confused. So September is a cancer month and October.
Yes. So in September, it's ovarian cancer, childhood cancer month. My nonprofit, we was just at Texas Children and Katy doing an event for the kids there. And then also it's Blood Cancer Month, which I'm a 3-time cancer survivor of Hodgkin's lymphoma. So yes, so every month has a cancer awareness month.
Now, could you give my family, listening family, some information in regards on if they want to contact you to lend their services or their time or their funds? Can you talk to them about that?
Yes. So my nonprofit is www. Pretty Girls with Cancer. We focus on mental health. So every month we have a session with a variety of topics such as depression, anxiety, and how to deal with cancer as a caregiver, a supporter, a fighter, or a person that is a survivor. So you can also find us on social media, Pretty Girls with Cancer. This Saturday, we have a Pink and Teal fitness affair, and we educate the community about breast cancer and ovarian. Breast cancer will affect around 232,000 people.
Wow.
Yes.
Say that number again.
About 232,000 people will
Is
be
that
diagnosed a year.
Locally, nationally, or what? That's nationally.
That is nationally.
Okay.
Diagnosed this upcoming year. And then also every 1 in 8 women will live with breast cancer. Breast cancer has an 85% occurrence for people who don't have any history of breast cancer. So just because you don't have a history of breast cancer, ladies, and some men deal with breast cancer, that doesn't mean that you should get your mammogram, especially if you're over 40. I say even if you're before 40, you can get it. Because Pretty Girls with Cancer, we've dealt with some really younger women that have been diagnosed with breast cancer. So just because you don't have it in your family doesn't mean don't skip your mammogram, okay? It's very important.
Okay, now in the realm of cancer, was that basically what you want to do? Because real quick, I want you to touch on mental illness because we've talked about mental illness, family, over the years, how it affects professional athletes, high school athletes, you name it. And so are those two, can your mental illness, I know it don't create cancer, but can those two kind of like go hand in hand, or will someone have cancer, next thing you know they got a mental situation, or what? How does that go?
So on my board, we have licensed clinicians, and I'm also a licensed clinician as well. It's important to understand that when someone has cancer, that they may have PTSD afterwards, bad memories of the chemo, the radiation. Also with cancer, it brings depression and anxiety, especially with the women I deal with. We lose our hair, so self-efficacy issues. It also puts us our anxiety high. What if I don't beat this cancer? What's going to happen to my family? And as a caregiver, it brings a lot of stress. Look at your loved one that is dying from this cancer or trying to fight this cancer. Especially with men, we tend to have the roles reversed. Now the man is cooking and cleaning and combing the little girl's hair and taking them to school and doing things that maybe the mother was doing previously. So what I see a lot is that there's a lot of anxiety, depression, and also a lot of guilt from the cancer patient because they feel like that they are too much baggage for their family. Okay. So mental health and cancer go hand in hand. Because even after the diagnosis and after you beat it, you ring your bell, people think life goes back on to regular, but there's so many side effects to fertility issues, to radiation messing up your skin, to psychological issues of losing your hair. So yes, mental health and cancer go hand in hand, and that's why we're so big on self-care and self-love.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you for coming out today and informing my audience of the significance of taking care of their bodies so they can deal with any pre-exempted of cancer, and also how if you take care of that, we also kind of like on the slide taking care of our mental health also. So we want to thank you for coming out, young lady, and talking to the show and informing my audience. And family, one more time, as we talk sports, we all also talk about mental issues and helping one another physically. So with that being said, we're wishing everyone a great weekend. Peace out.